Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama. I'm out here with the girls, and I'm going to do a 5-minute chicken tip video today talking about why my hens think I'm the rooster of the flock and why that's a good thing. So good morning, everybody. I know this video is going to be a little bit niche, but one of the things I love doing on this channel is getting an opportunity to talk to people who want to have backyard chickens. You're in a typical neighborhood, you're not on a ton of farmland, and what that can often mean is that you're not really allowed to have any roosters because you've got neighbors who are close to you that roosters make noise. A lot of HOAs say, yeah, you can have chickens, I guess, but we don't want you to have roosters. So what happens in a flock? What I'm going to talk about in this video, I have had roosters before. I don't have any right now. So if you've got a flock where you don't have a rooster, you're kind of wondering, is that a bad thing? What do I need to do to help my hens? We're going to talk sort of about what are the good things about a rooster, what does a good rooster do, and how you can sort of mimic that as the human. So a good rooster is a protector of the flock. They keep an eye out to make sure that the hens and the chicks are safe. They will alert the girls to danger so the girls can kind of chill, take care of the chicks. They can lay eggs, they can forage and do that kind of stuff. A good rooster also is really good at hunting things for his girls. And what a good rooster will do, and you'll start to kind of think like, oh, the parallels between my girls having a traditional rooster and them having me instead is also that if a rooster finds a squirrel, for example, get out of here, you little creep. If the rooster finds some good treats, whether it's the person brings treats or they find bugs or they find, a good stash of something that the chickens would want to eat, the rooster will call the hens over, and the rooster will not eat them first. The rooster will let the hens get dibs. So the rooster will call the girls over, and then the rooster will let the hens eat first. And that's another sign of a really good rooster, is that he's foraging for the girls, but then he lets them, he lets them have everything first. So those are two things that are really, really good about a rooster, is that it's protecting the hens, and then it calls them over and lets them get first choice of all of the treats and the good things to eat. Now, a bad rooster is one who, and that sounds kind of mean. There's not such thing as a bad rooster necessarily. It's just maybe a rooster doesn't fit in with a backyard flock, or a rooster is a little bit aggressive, or the rooster doesn't have enough hens. For example, a rooster is going to want to mate the hens as often as they feel like it. Well, for example, if I only had these 2 hens in your shot with a rooster, each of those girls is going to get a lot of love and attention, if you know what I mean. That can mean that the rooster is almost violent with them, can hurt them, pull their feathers out and things like that. I would recommend, in my experience, that each of your roosters has at least 6 hens. That way, none of them is getting too much attention at one time, if that makes sense, because it can turn into something that's kind of violent, where it does affect the hen's body. So some of the things that I do, for example, to help my flock feel like I'm the rooster, the first, and I'll see if I can get it in a shot here before I want to publish this video, is any adult hen will do the bow. I call it the chicken bow. If you come up to them and they'll do, I'm going to chase them around, they'll do that little squat. That is basically them readying themselves to be mounted by a rooster. Now, of course, whether or not they realize that I'm not really going to do that to them doing that squat or that little bow, that is something that they do to their rooster. So that is one way that they show me that they're thinking of me in that way. Now, if you want to pet your hen when they do that squat, you just rub them down their back and kind of grab the base of their tail and kind of shake it a little bit, and then they do that little fluff up thing. That's the only thing that I would do that mimics that action. But another thing that I do, and you can see they're all like, why haven't you opened the can yet, lady? The other thing you can do is when you are going to take treats or good things, or even if you're just filling up like their regular layer food, calling your chickens over, chick, 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 chick. They're gonna come running. Come on, chick, 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 chick. This is another sign of being a good rooster, is that I find something good and I don't eat it myself. I call my flock over. I call my hens, right, girls? And let them have the good things to eat. Go get them. And then they're like, sunflower seeds, what kind of cop-out is this? I have a new bag of Grub Terra in here, but I just can't open it with one hand. So calling your girls over when there are good things to eat, right, girls? And then, oh, here comes somebody else. Come on, Lace. Tick, 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 tick. And then when they do that squat or that bow, just petting them down their back, and almost like, you know, your dog or your cat, how you kind of scritch them down their back. You can do that with your hens as well. This is a really good thing, though, for you to have a relationship like that with your flock, because then they see you as an ally, they see you as a protector, and they see you as the alpha. Right, girls? And it's totally fine for egg laying and for behavior and for all of those reasons. It's totally fine for you to not have a rooster. Remember, your eggs will come from your hens irregardless of if there is a male or not. They don't need a male in order to lay eggs. They need a male if you want baby chicks, of course, if you want them to reproduce. But the egg itself has nothing to do with the presence of a rooster. But I do feel like it helps the flock mentality. It helps their cohesion. It helps your relationship with them, instead of them seeing you as like a different species. If they kind of see you more like, well, our rooster doesn't have any feathers and they're kind of funny looking, but they do bring us treats. They do protect us. They do come over and give us the little scritches and things like that. So just something for you to think about if you don't have a rooster. If you do have a rooster, be looking for those things. Your rooster should be protecting your girls. Your rooster should be calling them over if they find something good. And your rooster should not be mating your hens so violently or so often that they are missing huge chunks of feathers, that they're bloody, that they're running away from the rooster and they're afraid. That may be as easy, as I said, as maybe your rooster to hen ratio is way off. And it may be something where, you know, if there's too many roosters or if there's some competition going on, the disposition of your rooster may need to be adjusted a little bit. So just a couple of things for you to think about so that you can be the best human rooster possible for your flock, particularly if you're like me and you only have hens. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you've got roosters, how your roosters are with your girls, and we'll be back soon. So I wanted to show you another example here. I'm just sort of lazily, not very well, doing some weeding right here. And because the girls know that I am the bringer of treats, and also I'm sort of a pseudo rooster, as I pull these different weeds, dandelions and other grassy weeds and things like that. And remember, I don't use pesticides, but I am getting treats and good things to eat and giving it to my hens instead of me eating it. And that's another way in which you establish that relationship. Not only, so I mean that your chickens will come to you when you call them and they like you and they want to hang out with you, but really what you're doing is you're sort of creating that relationship as the rooster or as the alpha. Because one of the other great things, like I was mentioning, about a really good rooster, a really good flock leader, is that they will go and find good things to eat for their girls, either out in the wild. Sorry, you're getting stuck into a plant here. Either out in the wild or in the chicken run or whatever the case may be. They find something good, they call the girls over, chick, 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 and they let the girls eat first, while the rooster just kind of stands and watches. And they'll eventually dig in and everything too, but a really good rooster tries to make sure that the hens are all taken care of first. And one of the reasons that the girls love it when I go and plant things in their run is because I take my tiller and I have my shovels and I have all of my other stuff, right? All of my gardening tools. And they get all excited because they know that I'm going to be digging in the ground. I'm going to be probably turning up some good grubs and some other yummy things for them to eat. And so they get excited because they think the reason that I'm getting those garden tools out is so that I can find them worms and grubs. It has nothing to do with me planting plants. It's for them, right? But it's neat to have that relationship established with them, because even though in that instance, or in the instance of weeding, like I'm serving a different purpose, I'm taking care of my plants in the yard and that kind of thing. The girls see it almost like as an opportunity for us to bond, for me to show them that I care about them, that I'm protecting them, that I'm, that I'm providing for them. So whether I'm giving them the treats or, like I said, I call them over because I find a grub, but the fact that they're over here with me, yes, they've been trained that I am the bringer of food and good things and that they can trust me, but also that does bleed into the relationship of how a good rooster treats his flock, and why in a lot of ways they consider me to be the rooster. So now they know, because of habit, because I've trained them over a long period of time, that when I'm gardening, when I'm around, when I'm weeding, all of that kind of stuff, that really what I'm doing is, as far as they're concerned, is I am providing for them and taking care of them as any good rooster would. So please forgive the fact that I only own 2 hands, but this is Gracie, and I'm holding her in my lap. Right, Grace? And the way you can pet her like a rooster is start here, scritch, scritch, scritch. Here's the base of her tail to where she sticks it up like that. Yeah, and you just go like that. And then a lot of times they'll shake. Right, Gracie? And they do their little fluff up. And then that's the way you can pet them. That mimics how they prepare themselves for the rooster when they do that little squat or that little bow. And then when they fluff up, it's sort of like the deed is done. So that's how you can scratch them, just like that.